2, 1.
Go.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about the skills. We're assuming now that you've contacted your director and said, okay, I want to fill next month, and you work together closely for a week, maybe 10 days at the most, depending on how much time you have to put into this, and you have filled your next month. And now you want to be on track for all those other numbers to just fall into place. That numbers game is going to now work in your favor. And here are the skills that make those things fall into place. The first skill is prospecting. That is working with your director pretty closely to get the ideas and the verbiage and maybe some common hesitations and solutions so that you can find those 8 people who say, yes, I would love to have a party in September. I want that stoneware special. I want my friends to be able to take advantage of that. That's the skill of prospecting, okay? A lot of that skill isn't really a skill. It's just hearing from your director that you're going to hear a lot of no thank yous, and it's okay. Just keep moving on until you get to some yeses. But we'll be there to work beside you, cheer you on, help you, like I said, with some common hesitations and solutions so that you can get to those yeses hopefully faster. The next skill is host coaching. Host coaching is how we work with our hosts ahead of time to give them the ideas on how to fill the room. We don't want to just book the shows and say, great, see you on the 17th, hope it goes well, and hope that they get some people in the room. We train you on how to work with your people, how to teach them to effectively invite, not just post it on Facebook and say, I invited 400 people because I've got 400 friends on Facebook, how to effectively invite, how to collect those outside orders, how to even get outside bookings and things like that. So that when you walk into the show, you've already got 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 outside orders, you've already got a booking, you've got a room full of people. And you haven't even cooked. Okay, so we're gonna work with you on how to host coach. That's another skill. Then the next skill is informing or generating interest. Remember, we want to generate enough interest so that 6 to 8 people say, yes, pick me, I would like to have a party. And so approximately a third of the people say, yes, I would like to take some information home. Okay, so we're going to teach you how to generate interest so you're not begging for shows, you're not twisting people's arms so that they take information home. You are presenting information and people are saying, I would like to have a party. I would like to take information home. Okay, we're teaching you how to present all that Pampered Chef has to offer, and people can choose what they want. Okay, so that's what we call generating interest. So that the bookings come and that third are taking information home. After that, it's inviting. So we inform, invite, and interview. Pampered Chef calls it the 3 I's. So the first is informing or generating interest. The next is inviting, or it says FSC here. That stands for full service checkout. We're going to teach you about what we call a full service checkout, and that's how after the party, when they come to place their order, they think they're placing an order. We are not there just to process their order. That's the full service checkout, where we find out, are you curious enough to want to take more information home? Would you like to consider having a party? A lot of times, probably half the people who schedule parties with me say, I'd love to, but I can't. Because, and then they tell me, my house is too small, I don't know enough people, all those common hesitations. Most people have a little bit of a hesitation. If you offer them a solution, they'll say yes. Oh, I could have it at my mom's house? I never even thought of that. She's got a huge kitchen. Yeah, I'll give her a call. Yeah, I'll have a party with my mom. So, so we teach you how to do that full service checkout so that you get the bookings in place and so that you can schedule the follow-up with those people who say, I'd like to take information home. About a third of them are going to go, yeah, I'm so interested. Yeah, let's set up that time to talk right now. And you're going to set up a time to talk with them. You are not going to have to do that follow-up. Not while you're new, not until you're comfortable doing it. You're just going to be able to give them information and say, is it okay if I have my trainer give you a call? She's been doing this forever, I'm brand new. But I want to make sure you get all the information you need to make an informed decision. You can either offer a 3-way call or you can just say, can I have my trainer call you? And we're happy to do that follow-up. But we will teach you how to do that interview, the 3rd I's. I hate to call it an interview because that sounds like a job interview. Ooh, sounds serious. Well, guess what? They have the job if they want it. Yeah. It's just a 3rd eye because I think Pampered Chef wanted to have 3 I's, inform, invite, and interview. But it's just how we talk to people, give them the information they need, answer their questions, and see if it's something that they want to try. And after that, the 6th skill is a strong start. And again, that is not something you're gonna have to worry about because anybody who's getting started on your team, if you're on my team, they're on my team and I do the bulk of the training. So they're gonna get the information about how to line up those parties, the words to say and all that, and you're not gonna have to come up with it. But if you've been around the block a few times and you know it like the back of your hand, it's gonna be easy for you to share that information with people. But until then, you don't have to worry about that, okay? But these are the 6 skills. But the first 4 are the ones that you really need to work on when you're new. The prospecting, like I said, talk to your director and work on that prospecting one-on-one. Your director will say, what have you tried so far? Let's brainstorm what you can do. What is the next couple of days of your life look like? How much time do you have to put into this? We'll brainstorm together to come up with a strategy, okay? So the prospecting, I'm not going to cover too much tonight. But then host coaching, informing at your shows, and inviting at your shows. Those are the big things you're going to be working on. And if you've already come to the new consultant, the cooking show training night, then you know we covered informing there about the booking slide and the Q&A, and we cover the interview, the full service checkout there. Host coaching, there's some support online, and of course you can also talk to your director. But there's something else, and I'm hoping I brought it out here because I went to get it, and now I'm not sure I actually did get it. Oh, yeah, I did. There's what's called the monthly tracker. We get this from the Pampered Chef website.
There it is. Ooh.
There it is, the monthly tracker. Okay. I also have it saved as a PDF, so if you need it, let me know. We as directors, there's one of us, and I have to say, there's one of us and there's many of you guys. And what a lot of us have in common is we really love our business, we're pretty good at it. But there's something that I know I'm not good at, and I don't think any of the other directors on my team are very good at it. And that is reading a crystal ball. We have no idea. We can't go to all your parties. If you live locally to us, we might go to one. Nobody went to my first party. I was solo right from the get-go, okay? But after that, we're here to help you, but we're not at your parties. So this monthly tracker is a very valuable tool that we as directors rely on heavily. We need you guys to fill these out and send us these numbers. And what it is first you list your parties here, okay? And as you're listing the parties, there's room for 8 of them there, although if you want to do more than 8, go right ahead. You will not be alone. There's plenty of people on our team who do way more than 2 parties a week. But you're going to list the parties here. If this number is an 8 and you'd like it to be, what skill does that reflect on here?
Prospecting.
Prospecting, okay? So if this number isn't where you want it to be, you and your director can diagnose it together and go, it's prospecting we need to work on, okay? Even though we're not there to see all your parties and all that kind of stuff, we can tell because, that's the skill that's reflected in this column. The next 2 columns, one is how many shows hold, okay? If you have a lot of show cancellations, because they don't all hold on the originally scheduled date, or if your attendance is low because you're going to be listing attendance here, what skill over here does that reflect?
Host coaching.
Host coaching, okay? I fought for months in my business. I wanted a higher show average. My show average wasn't very high when I started, and I went home and I practiced my demo over and over and over again. I went to see parties of other consultants. I learned lots of great stuff, but I came home and my show average was not going up. And I was racking my brain, why isn't my show average going up? Finally, I talked to my director, and we realized when we looked at my numbers, my average order was very, very high. My attendance was not. My average attendance was about 4, 5, 6. There was no way I was going to increase my show average by doing a different demo. People were already spending as much as people in this area are going to spend. I was working on a totally different skill that didn't really need working on. That my skill at my shows was already very, very strong. My host coaching is what needed changing. So I, all this time, was trying to fix something that wasn't broken. So all of a sudden I looked and I went, I didn't have any outside orders at my shows when I first got started. And I realized there were people who were walking into the room with $150 to $300 in outside orders. I thought, well, no wonder they sell so much at their parties. Their hosts are selling so much stuff before it even starts. Well, yeah, that's how you have a good show average. You don't do it all yourself. you know? And so these two columns, when you fill in how many shows hold on the original date and what the attendance is, then you and your director can look over these numbers and say, you know, if these numbers are low, let's talk about your host coaching. Okay? And then the next column is how many people took information home about the business. If all of a sudden you've got really good attendance, but nobody's taking information home, well, then we need to look at how you're generating interest. Are you doing the Q&A segment? I had someone say, oh, nobody's ever taking information home about the business. I said, well, how's that Q&A segment going? Oh, I'm not doing it. I said, well, that could be part of the problem right there. You know, you look at what you're doing during your shows to generate that interest. The next column talks about, okay, so now some people took information home, how many are scheduling interviews? So we'll talk about that full service checkout, okay? And then how many bookings do you get from each show? A really great mantra to have when you're new, and actually forever, is my job isn't through until I book 2. You want 2 bookings tied to every single party that you're doing on average, okay? Sometimes those bookings come from outside orders. Sometimes the host already has them lined up ahead of time because you've coached them to do so. The bookings come from the parties themselves. But you want to make sure you're averaging 2. That way when a host decides she wants to become a consultant, you can give her those bookings and know you've got plenty left over. Or if you have a show that all of a sudden, you know, it gets snowed out, it's okay. You've got enough coming from the rest of them, okay? So you fill out these numbers. What are you going to do after every show? Who are you going to talk to after every single show?
Your director.
Your director, yes. It doesn't have to be that night. It's late. You can talk the next day. But within 24 hours, every time you have a party, you want to be talking to your director and telling what these numbers are. You can email them. You can tell us over the phone. It's fine. As long as we know what the numbers are so we can figure out what the trends are. A couple things we can do. We can cheer on what you're doing well and go, wow, you're fantastic at that. Wow, you got how many bookings? We want you to talk at the next sales meeting to tell everybody how you get those shows in place. But we can also look to see what skills need a little bit of tweaking and fine tuning. And I will tell you this, most people are nothing more than a few tweaks away from all the success that they want. It's not usually huge changes that people need to make. It's usually a small change. Like for that person who said, I don't get any recruit leads, and she wasn't doing a Q&A segment. As soon as she started doing a Q&A segment, she got the leads, like beating them off with a stick.
No, Ashley.
So, so oops, shouldn't say it. But you know, so it's really crucial because, like I said, you know, that whole learning curve. Okay, so this is everybody comes to the table with different skills and with different things that just come easily to them. And we're happy to work with you on any of them. Well, believe me, we were the same way. We came in, some of the things fell into place, and some of them didn't. But we're here to work with you to help shore up and strengthen the areas that need a little bit of tweaking. We can't do that without knowing what those areas are. So we really, really, really rely on you guys to fill out these numbers and communicate them with us. Okay? You want to stop the film? And
We'll stop.
all right, what is